Welcome back, guys, and welcome back to my channel. And like I did promise, I promised a National League sort of preview for week one. Obviously, there has been a couple of games affected over the opening weekend, including my club's game. So that will not be spoke about in this game. The game at Bromley has been called off due to a COVID outbreak, as well as at Yeovil and Dover. The games have been called off. There has been some shuffling of fixtures, so a fixture that would have happened a bit later on is happening instead between the two teams that had Dover and Yeovil. They are now going to be playing each other. So for this, what I'm going to give you is I'm going to give you my predictions for week one, or match day one, of the National League, and give you my honest opinion as to what I think is going to happen. So I think what we'll do, we'll crack straight on with this. The first game of the weekend is going to be Aldershot. They're hosting Championship challenges, or they are at least in the betting, Chesterfield. Now, obviously, my team Grimsby played their final pre-season game at Chesterfield at the weekend, and all I will say is they are very quick out the blocks, and they've got some very, very dangerous players. And they are down as like I said, one of the title favourites. Danny Rowe really has them well organised, and they they may have little lapses here and there, but they're a very, very, very dangerous side, and I think they will be there or thereabouts throughout the season. Aldershot, hit and miss, I think, for them. I think they are going to be a little bit of a dangerous side. They're like sleepers, I think. You expect them to not really pull up any trees, but, they could spring a surprise on a few people. So it'll be interesting to see. My prediction for this game between Aldershot and Chesterfield, I've gone for Aldershot Town 1, Chesterfield 2. Off what I've seen at the last weekend, I believe that Chesterfield are going to kick off their National League campaign with, I wouldn't say an easy win, but I would say they'll get over the line against Aldershot. So my first victors of the weekend are going to be Chesterfield. Going on to the second one now, which is Barnet. They're hosting Notts County. Now Notts County are, again, they're going to be one of the favourites for the league title on paper. And I always say it's on paper, but it's never played on paper. And Ian Birchnell has a very, very attacking style of play. I have watched Notts County a few times over the last couple of years while they've been in the National League. This is the most expansive I've ever seen Notts County. But I still think they're lacking a forward. I did hear on the Magpie Circle podcast, which I'll just give a little plug to the guys there. They had Martin Allen on for a recent interview and a preview themselves. That Martin believes you need a 24 to 25 goal a season striker. You need more than just a 24 or 25 goal a season striker, because over the years, I'm watching National League as long as I have. Yes, it is important to have that. And I think in a way they do, Carl Wotton's finding his way as an out centre forward. I just don't think they have another one. And that is where I'd worry for Notts County. And, that is where they've got to be looking. I mean, they've got Carl Roberts, and that they've got, like I said, they've got Carl Wotton. They've got Carl Cameron in defence from Torquay. So they're in pretty good nick, and they'll definitely be in and around it again. So that's Notts County. They're coming up against Barnet. Now, Barnet had an abysmal season last season. In fact, I couldn't believe how really they finished 13th the season before, but they got in on points per game. They ended up in the playoffs. How they've gone from there to ending, practically bottom because of no relegation last year. I can't see them being as bad this time round, as I have already stated in my table preview. They've got Harry Kuehl in charge, so that'll be interesting how Harry gets on at Barnet. I don't believe them to be as bad as they're going to be. I also think one of the big issues with Notts County, and they've got to be careful of it, is their defending. I think, and that is somewhere where Barnet could hurt them, because as much as they love to attack, I believe they're quite weak defensively in regards to. It's great having the expansive style of football, but I think a lot of teams in this league could exploit that. In Notts County's last pre-season game against Solihull, I believe they were behind twice and they drew 2-2, or they were 2-0 down, and came back to draw 2-2. Notts County should know this, and I'm sure Ian Birchnell's been doing some work with them, but you can't keep doing that at this level. So that would be my concern for Notts County, is the set pieces and the overall defence. Attacking wise, they're going to be great going forward, but it's how can they perform at the back. That's going to be one of Notts County's problems and issues, I think. But on the opening day, it's Barnet against Notts County. I think Notts County will get off to a winning start, and I think they will keep a clean sheet. So I've gone for Barnet 0, Notts County 2. Now we move on to quite an interesting game here. We go to the Shea as Halifax are about to play Alan Devonshire's Maidenhead United. Now Maidenhead, they had a very, very solid season last year. An extremely solid season last year. And Alan Devonshire is, I would say, he's quintessentially the what you look for as a National League manager. Former West Ham player, of course, in his playing days. Maidenhead are a team that you can never take lightly and you can never take for granted. And I think they could surprise a few people again. Maybe not to the level they were before, but Alan Devonshire knows how to pick a player up from the lower leagues, from the southern sections of league and around, and around the sort of London area, the London-based area. He sort of knows, and he knows how to get results at this level. Whether you always find it the prettiest football to watch is up for debate, but Alan Devonshire at National League level, like I said, us at Grimsby, we've had some fights with his teams over the years. They're coming up against Halifax Town, like I've said, and Halifax had a good season in all for Halifax last year. Probably didn't quite reach the standards they wanted. Obviously they were chasing competing for the playoffs. This year they haven't really strengthened in as many places as they had. They lost Jake Hyde in that, so that'll be a big loss for them. But Halifax are a good side. I believe they'll have a solid season. But in this first game against Maidenhead, I've gone for an away win. I've gone for Maidenhead United 3, Halifax Town 1. The reason why is, again, I think Alan Devonshire, like I say, is one of those guys that can get results when you don't expect them to. Alan Devonshire's side's always been able to do that. And I fancy that they're going to go to the Shea and spring a little bit of a surprise. So, like I said, that's Maidenhead United 3, Halifax Town 1 is my prediction for that one. We move on to the fourth fixture now. We move on to a team that's, by a lot of people, has been said they will struggle. And like I said in my prediction, I believe they're going to be one of the teams that actually goes down or are very close to going down. They start off with the newly relegated Southend, who are managed by Phil Brown, and that is a fantastic appointment for this level. I think people are sort of worried about, Southend, are they going to be able to adjust to the National League like some will. I think with this one, this could be classed as maybe a great opening fixture, but it could also be classed as maybe a terrible fixture for you, depending on which way you're looking at it from. I think Southend will definitely have enough to get over Kings Lynn. I don't see Kings Lynn being much of a threat in this. Kings Lynn haven't really done a lot over the summer, signing-wise. Not enough that's going to make you think, wow, that really could make the difference. So I've gone, my scoreline for that game is Kings Lynn 0, Southend 3. I just think Southend are going to have a little too much for Kings Lynn, and it's going to be I don't want to say an easy win, but I think it will be comfortable, to put it kindly. Next is a game that was shuffled around for Solihull Moors and Wrexham. They both had Dover and Yeovil respectively, but that has actually, obviously, due to an outbreak, those two games have been postponed, and they've agreed to play each other. And it's going to be at Solihull. Now, Wrexham are one of the more, I'm going to call them pressurised sides this season, alongside Stockport, alongside Notts County, alongside ourselves even. I think, signing with this side, like signing Paul Mullin and besides Paul Mullin, some very, very dangerous players. I think, it's a great feeling if you're a Wrexham supporter. But do you think it adds more pressure to you because you've signed Paul Mullin and because you've signed some of the players that you've got? Do you think that adds a bit more pressure? I think it does. Because I think Wrexham are going to be at a point where, right, so if Wrexham don't go up this year, have they failed? Whereas you look at different opponents in Solihull Moors, well, they've just had, I can't believe, I would say for this level, the coup that Solihull actually hired. They brought in Neil Ardley after he left Notts County, and I thought, what an absolute signing that is as a manager. And he's gone for a couple of players that he knew from Notts County. He's like I said, he had a good game against Notts County last weekend, which finished 2-2. You may not always play the prettiest football with Neil, but he knows how to play football, the former Wimbledon and Notts County manager. I don't think this is going to be an easy start for Wrexham. I think this is going to be harder than people believe. So much so, I'm actually going to go for a draw, a score draw, but I'm going to go for Solihull Moors 1, Wrexham 1. Is going to be my prediction for that one. It's going to be because neither team would have been expecting to play each other, so we'll have to see how they both come out. And I just think that, if Wrexham don't get off to a good start, fans could start to panic. But I think that is one of the toughest rearranged games Wrexham could actually have asked for, was for Solihull, and especially at Solihull. So should be interesting to see how that one pans out. But I'm going to go 1-1. Now we move on to one of the outright favourites for the league title, alongside Wrexham. However, for some reason I fancy these more than Wrexham. They are at home. It's Stockport County. They're about to play probably an outsider for the playoff places, Dagenham and Redbridge. Now, Stockport County, they've brought in Scott Quigley. Obviously, they've still got Paddy Madden. I think they've got Jake Hyde as well. That is a formidable, for National League level, formidable front three, without a shadow of a doubt. Now, I just think that, again, they're kind of like in the Wrexham camp, where they're splashing the cash, but that obviously brings the expectation up, and it also brings the pressure with it. And I think that's, but I think they've got it. They've got something that a lot of clubs at this level don't. And that's a lot of the squad that has been there the last couple of years, especially the side that made the playoffs last year. There's still a lot of it there. So, they are... I pick them as my pick to win the National League. But I don't, by any means, think it'll be easy. And like I said, they start with Dagenham and Redbridge, who themselves have threats. They're Angelo Balanta and Paul McCallum, two real attacking players that can really score you goals at National League level. Paul McCallum has now done it everywhere he's gone. He didn't have the best of time at Solihull, but, he did it at Barnet. He's done it at a few other places as well that he's been. You look at this game, really, and I can see goals in it. I've probably been a bit sort of like, I've sort of held back a bit reluctant here. But I've gone for Stockport to win, mainly just home, mainly because of the home form. But I do see goals in this one. Now I've said that, it'll probably end up being, a tight and tense affair. But I've gone for Stockport County to win by 2-1. I think they will make a winning start, but I don't believe it's going to be easy. So 2-1 to Stockport County. Then we move on to last season's beaten playoff finalists, Torquay United. Obviously, they've lost a lot of top players. Like I said, they've lost Kyle Cameron to Notts County, and they've lost a few of their top boys. But I still think, like I called it in my table prediction video. I said the Gary Johnson effect. If anyone is going to let that not affect them, it's going to be Gary Johnson, and it's going to be Torquay. I still see Torquay being in and around it. I think there's going to be a lot of teams in and around it this year. But they start with Altrincham. Altrincham have made a cracking signing earlier in the window, Ben Pringle, who we had at Grimsby for half a season, I believe it was. And Ben, cracking player, 32 now. But a cracking signing for Altrincham at this level. But I think that Altrincham are going to find this season even tougher than they found the last one. Like I said, I think they'll be fine, like I said, in the table. But I just don't see them having much going forward that'll trouble Torquay, especially with it being at Plainmoor. I think it's going to be Torquay United 3, Altrincham 0. And like I said, sorry if that does disappoint Altrincham supporters. I just don't see any sort of pressure going on there. I don't think they've got enough to trouble Torquay. Let's see how wrong I really am. But no, I'm sticking with that 3-0 to Torquay. We move on to the penultimate game of the week, and it's Wealdstone against Woking. Two sides that I think will struggle, which I've said. I think two sides that I think will struggle. Wealdstone conceded a lot of goals last year. I think it was 99. And I don't see them being much different. I know that Grimsby, we signed Michi Afete from them in the summer, and he looked a lively wing back. They're playing Woking, who it's probably the ideal game for both, because it's one of those games where they're both going to think and both going to believe they can win. So it's probably the most ideal game for both of them. It's a coin flip, that one. What I've done, though, is my prediction is Wealdstone 0, Woking 2. I fancy Woking to get off to a good start. Like I said, for both teams, it's probably the ideal fixture that they could have gotten. And I just think Woking will edge it. Even though I said 2-0, please don't think that means I think it's going to be a comfortable win for Woking. But I think whoever gets that first goal, I think will go on to win that game. But I'm going Wealdstone 0, Woking 2. And the final one for this round of fixtures is Weymouth against Ballroom Wood. Now, Anthony Gerrard actually manages Ballroom Wood. He's obviously got that bit of a blow because they lost Tishamanga to Chesterfield, which is obviously a blow for Ballroom Wood because he was their main source of goals at Ballroom Wood. But they're playing a team in Weymouth that I just don't see anything from, and I don't see goals from them. I know they've signed Akeem Rose from Dover, but I just don't see goals in them. And again, for Ballroom Wood, and I don't want to underestimate any of these lesser teams because I know that if you underestimate them, any team can turn anyone over, But I just don't see it in Weymouth. And I think Ballroom Wood are going to run out. Got to be honest, I'm going to say a 2-0 win. So Ballroom Wood to win by 2-0 against Weymouth. I just can't see Weymouth doing much of anything. I'm sorry, but they're my predictions for week 1 of the National League. Like I said, Bromley against Grimsby is called off due to a virus outbreak at Grimsby Town. So we are not playing until hopefully next week when we're home to Weymouth. But we'll see how that one goes. And obviously, hopefully, everyone at Grimsby is hopefully the guys that have tested positive are recovering well, and Same for Yeovil and same for Dover as well. So that is my predictions for the first week of the National League season. If you are a fan of any of these teams that's in it this year, what's your predictions on your games? Tell me them down below what you think. Like I said, the games are Aldershot and Chesterfield, Barnet and Notts County, Halifax and Maidenhead, Kings Lynn and Southend, Solihull and Wrexham, Stockport and Dagenham, Torquay and Altrincham, Wealdstone and Woking, and Weymouth and Ballroom Wood, and Solihull and Wrexham, like I've always said. I need to do that because that's been, like I said, been reshuffled around. Any of those, good luck to any club that is involved in the National League this season. Good luck to all supporters of any club in the National League. We will all see you at some point during the season here at Grimsby. What's your predictions on the first week of National League? Let me know. I'll be intrigued to know what you think. Let me know, and I'll see you guys soon. See you soon, guys.